Hi guys,
Hi,
I'm Danielle,
and I'm Brianna.
and we want to thank you for joining us on our podcast As the Page Turns, where we talk about the book of the week, our lives, and a little social media mess. So let's jump right into the mess because it's been messy.
It's definitely been messy lately.
Yeah,
Right
it's.
now, we're like coming off of the thick of Nicki and Meg.
Mhm.
That
Do you have
was,
thoughts on that you would
huh?
like to share?
I I've been following it, and I'm really thinking Nicki's kind of off her rocker right now, and I don't understand what's going on. It's giving old lady bully, and I don't like that. It's weird.
Yeah,
And
I've
Meg's
been
been
thinking
vibing.
a lot about that situation.
I'll be going to sleep,
As you
waking
know,
up.
I've been putting so much in the group chats.
Yeah.
Everywhere we are, I'm like, and this, and this. And then I've been thinking about this because it's just been so,
You've been looking at it from all sides.
yeah, because honestly, Nicki is an amazing rapper.
Yeah.
Like, we've heard from like her past stuff. She's really good. So when she was like, I'm about to release something, I was like,
I was
now,
on it.
Meg, your P's and Q's, because she can. And and then I told you guys that I read the lyrics first, and then I told you guys I will not be
Yeah, I've only read the
partaking
lyrics.
in this and listening to this. But
Yeah.
then I ended up watching somebody on YouTube review it, so I did listen. The beginning was
See, I
random.
haven't listened to it at all. I've only seen clips
So
on it on
let
Instagram.
me give you the lowdown. The beginning, rambling. Then
No,
she
I heard
starts
the
in,
rambling.
yes, then she starts in, and you're like, she rhymed foot with foot 3 times. So I was like, okay. And then in the middle though, it was like, in the winter sometimes like you used to have to like turn your car on and leave it for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I was like, the car might be ready. You might be ready to go. And so I was like, oh, for like a bar or two. And then
Not a bar.
it descended back into rambling. And I was like,
I
hmm.
heard it was giving like crazy woman, like speaking to herself type.
Listen,
That's what I
the
was saying.
second time she started to talk and not rap, I cut it off. I said,
It's like, I can't listen to
no,
crazy.
yeah, because I was like, you're not
Mm-mm.
rapping. You're just
Yeah.
talking. You're and not even really talking. You're whispering.
You're not whisper.
And now I'm seeing like all the reels on Instagram using the second half of the whispering, and I'm
Really?
like, oh,
I
so
haven't
that's what
seen
she was
that.
saying. I was like, oh, so it really devolved. And she was
I'm
whispering about
dead.
like, you will have a child.
And I'm so confused of like why is she so upset? Like she is like so angry to the point where it's like she's lost all reason. It's like she's just like
Yeah.
gone off the cliff. And
You
I'm
know
like,
what? For me, that wasn't even really it was a part of it, but that wasn't even a big part because I feel like sometimes when you have beef with somebody, I don't really need to know why you're having beef with this person. It sounds like Meg also didn't know why they had beef. Meg was like,
exactly.
I don't know what the problem is.
Like
So,
what's happening?
but for me, I don't really need to know. All I need is for you to be rapping. And if you're good, hey, that's
Amen.
all I need. And you don't even need to be telling the truth because when I was listening to the song,
It's like strong allegations.
I was like, what is
Like
she
very
talking
strong allegations.
what is she saying? I was like, unless she knows things that nobody else has ever come out to say, I was
Yeah.
like,
But it just feels weird because I'm like some of the allegations, I'm like, was her and Meg even that close? Like,
That's
to
what
be
that's
that
why
deep?
I was like, "Wow, she's saying a lot, but how would she know all this?"
Yeah, I
Like,
feel
that's
Meg doesn't
what
look like
I was like and then I was like, to be very honest, I don't think they were the truth. I think she
no.
was lying,
I think
but
she was just,
like,
yeah.
like, speak back on the point that I was saying before, like, I don't need to know if it's the truth. It could be a
It just
lie,
has to
as
sound
long
good.
as it's good. But
So
it
I will
also
play
for
this
me
in the
didn't
gym.
hit like that. Yeah, it didn't hit like that. So I was like, "Dang, this is."
And I
But
love how
also, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
okay, hold on. Okay, so I love how Meg also like is posting on Instagram like her Sony deal, like just congrats, she's having a time of her life, just thriving. And I know Nikki's over there like seething, like
Truly,
so
to me, dang, that's the
she
winner
lost.
there. That's
Yeah.
the winner. Like, the way, because like, it seems, because the whole narrative looks to be like Meg is completely unbothered, and whether, I mean,
You never know, she could be
we
bothered, but it don't look like it.
it looks like Nikki's bothered,
Yes.
so we will assume that she's really bothered, and the way that Meg seems so unbothered just seems like, dang.
It's like, yeah, Meg won that round.
Yeah, yeah, and she's releasing an album, and she's going on tour, and isn't Nikki also going on tour
I think
soon?
she is on tour, and I've seen like some pictures, or not
Oh,
pictures,
she's on
some
tour
videos.
now?
I think so because I saw a video. Well, maybe she's not on tour, but she did like a performance, and she was doing one of her songs. I think it was like super like freaky girl, whatever. And she
Hmm.
was just sitting there like performing, and I like looked in the comments because that's the first place I like to go. And they were all like, "She better not do this when she's in my city. She better not do this when she's in my city." And
Oh,
I was confused
maybe it
about
was a practice though.
I think maybe she just showed up at like an appearance or something. But they
Or
were
maybe
like
it was,
mad.
I don't know if she went, but I know that there was like a pre-Grammys event. I think Clive Davis. Ooh, did I say?
No, I think this was longer ago. That was
Oh,
like
really?
maybe like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Oh.
ago. And I just saw it and I forgot to send it to the group chat. I forgot. But I was like, dang, not her
That's it.
just sitting on the stage rapping. And they were like, she wasn't like, I think she wasn't even sitting. She was like laying down on like this like speaker, just like rapping like that. And I think people were like really upset. Like, okay, they paid
I
money to
wonder if
see
that
that.
was a show or
I don't
what.
know what that was.
But also, I just want to like point out that all this like has turned into like a Nicki versus Meg when I feel like the majority of the song Meg was talking to like the men of the internet and not even really talking
Yeah,
to Nicki.
I feel like she was even
Like,
older.
let me tell you, the hardest bars that hit for me was when she came after Drake.
Oh yeah.
She said, "You got a real body, no etching." She said,
She is
fake
so
ass accents. Wait, the
funny.
thing that got me was she said, "Posted in another nigga's hood like a bad bitch." I said, "Oh,"
Oh girl,
I
she is
said,
funny. She really
"Dang."
wasn't playing with them this time. And like I was saying to you guys in the group chat, like I love that she has a different vibe in Hiss versus how her vibe was in Cobra because that thing was so sad. I remember like really excited to like, oh, Cobra. And then I started listening to it and I was like, wait a second, she sound
Yeah.
real sad.
She
Like
was
this is not a happy
honestly, like, she was
song.
been through so much. She was probably down bad for a long.
Yeah. And so I'm glad to see the switch up, to see her
Yeah,
back on it like, okay, I don't care what
I
y'all say.
know.
I
Yes.
love that
I
for
love when I say I have been listening to Hiss a lot, especially because
probably on repeat.
yeah, especially because I've been doing these like 6 a.m. workouts. Hiss has been on.
Yeah,
When
that will
she
definitely hype
goes,
you up.
when I'm in the gym, I be thinking about bitches that I'm shitting on. Yeah, because I need something to get me out of bed.
I really, yeah, yeah, you need the
I really
motivation.
get that bed like, is it worth it? I don't
And
know.
then the other crazy thing is the whole thing with Lotto and Ice Spice all of a sudden,
Where did that come from?
out of nowhere, out of thin air.
Absolutely nowhere. And I was like, I texted you when I texted y'all about it. I was like, but what if? I think, especially on the internet, people see things and they assume so much because I'm like, she was just in like, what is it? Like, it was like, what, a Sprinter van? What if the TV
Yeah.
was just playing?
But she didn't even really know. I mean, well, she probably knew that her song was playing, but I mean, I don't. It doesn't seem malicious at all. Like it was
Yeah.
just like a very innocent video.
Right. Also because like if she's recording a video in there, the TV is muted so that they can play her track and she can rap like along to her track. So
Yeah.
did she even know that what was playing on the TV behind her, or was she just, I don't know. Maybe I'm naive in thinking
Maybe
that
me
like,
too. So
no.
she might
I'm
be
just
mad
like,
at you,
why
girl.
would you do all that?
Exactly. I feel like I don't understand why celebrities always feel like they need to go to the internet first.
Yeah,
Like
call
if I
her.
felt some way, I would be like, "Hey, girl, what's that little TikTok
Yeah.
you did? What's that
Just be like,
about?"
hey, I noticed I was playing in the background. Are you trying to take shots at me, or let me
Exactly.
know? Because if you want to fight,
It
that's
is what
really could
it
be the message.
is.
That's it.
But they always like immediately like Twitter fingers on Twitter, on Instagram, starting a whole thing, and it's like, was
Why?
it ever that serious? Like
Yes,
it don't even feel that
to
serious.
me, things on the internet are never that serious because it's not real
No,
life.
it really isn't.
The
And I feel
internet.
like people forget that. It's the
Yeah,
internet.
it's
I
the
don't know.
internet. And like, you are never going to see that person in real life.
No,
Or maybe you are going to see that person in real life, but will they have the same energy? Probably.
no, most
So,
likely not.
yeah. So I
That's how
don't.
I always feel when I'm like late at night and you like end up finding comments of people arguing back and forth under
Mhm.
somebody else's post, and I'm always like, yeah, it's tea for me to it's funny to read, but
Yeah.
I'm also always thinking about like, are you really arguing with a person you have
A
no
stranger.
clue who this person is? That's so
Yeah.
weird to me to be
And
so
most of the time, the people in the comments are trolls. So
exactly.
they don't even have like, they do not care.
That people
So
get so offended and go back and forth. And it's funny for
yeah.
me to read, yes, but like that energy that you were putting into that for so long, sometimes it'd be like 100 messages. Like you really took like a whole 2 hours out of
There
your
will be
day.
sometimes that I will see a post online and I'll be like, "Oh, I should comment something," and then
Mm.
I'll backspace, backspace, backspace because I'm like, I'm not even trying it. Or sometimes I will comment and I'll like
Oh
give
yeah.
a little chuckle, and then people respond, and I don't care because that comment was from
Yeah.
me. That
And
comment
it's
was.
so funny though, Danielle, that you say that is because sometimes our algorithms on Instagram show us the same stuff. And so a lot of the stuff, the things that you do comment, it'll show your comment right up top. And I'm like, oh, Danielle saw this post. And I'm like, and I read your comment, and sometimes I try to like it and be like, oh yeah, she engaged.
That recently happened with another one of our friends, Maddie. I was
uh,
on some random post and I went to the comments and Maddie's was right up
that is
top.
what
And I
right
was
up
like,
top.
Maddie. I said,
Like,
it's
hey
like
girl,
it's like running into your friend at a store. You're like,
right?
oh my God,
I didn't know you was
you're
here.
here. Yeah, I didn't know you were out here. But yeah, it feels like that. But
That is funny.
yeah. Okay, you guys, we're gonna jump into the book. So
Ooh,
this
yeah.
week we're reading Children of Virtue and Vengeance. It's the second book after the one we read last week by Toni Adeyemi. And let's jump in. It's my turn to
Mm-hmm.
do the recap. So I
Okay.
wanted to start first by going through all the Magi clans, so that we just know. I think it's cool. So
It is pretty cool. I was really interested.
so we have the Reaper clan, who is in control over magic over life and death. The Connector clan, who is in control over mind, spirit, and dreams. The Tiders, who are in control over water. The Burners, who are in control of the fire. Winders, who are controlling air. Grounders and Welders, who are controlling earth and iron. Lighters, who control darkness and light. Healers and Cancers, who control health and disease. Little side note, I like throughout the book, I kept forgetting what cancers were, and I thought they were talking about zodiac signs sometimes, and I would be like,
Me too.
happening?
I was like, wait a
And I'd be
second.
like, wait, what? Okay, and then we have seers who are in control of time, and then we have tamers who are in control of animals. So very, very cool. Those I love that. I love all of those. So let's get into the book. So the book starts right after the first book ends. So Inan has betrayed Zele and Amari. Amari has murdered her father. And they will also believe that Inan has died. And Zele has succeeded in bringing magic back. But a little side effect of bringing magic back, there are now people called Titans. So they are people like Zele and not Zele, Amari and Inan. So they usually have just a streak of white hair instead of a full head of white hair. And they now also have magic. And these Titans are usually nobles. So the people who were oppressing the diviners and the magi are some, obviously, because ain't this how it happens? The oppressed people will secretly get with the diviners or something like that. So they have a diviner back in their family, and so they have access to a little bit of magic. But the big difference between the Titans and the Magi is that the Titans don't need like words to access their magic. They can just access their magic like right out, like super quick. And so that leaves Zele with a horrible taste in her mouth to be like, okay, the people who oppressed us for all this time and hated us and looked down on us, now they have access to magic, and it's like easier to access than with us. And the fact that Amari is a Titan like creates a really big rift between them. So to Zele, the betrayal of Anon, and then the fact that Amari is now a Titan with access to magic, there's like a big like chasm between them. And although like I don't think Amari realizes that at first, Zele is definitely dealing with that. So now, even despite all that, Zele is still okay with going back to Lagos with Amari and like holding up her claim on the throne. So they're working with Rowan, who is like a mercenary, to go back to Lagos. And then Rowan and Zele are
I like
there's
Rowan.
a little sizzle between
It's a
them.
little sizzle. Okay.
Sizzle going on between Rowan and Zele. He even has a little nickname for her that I did not write down, so I cannot say, but it
It is there. Yes, you read the book, you'll see it.
yeah, but it is very cute. So they sail back to Lagos. And Amari, once she's there, goes to the palace or like a tower or something to go speak to the nobles to be like, I'm alive. I am next in line for the throne. And then to say, like, the way that we've been fighting with the Magi has to stop. We have to form an alliance. And under my rule, like, Magi will not be like second class citizens. And the nobles, in the beginning they were not feeling it, but Amari like is speaking really passionately, and by the end of her speech they're kind of like, okay, like we can see we can do this, like see like this is a great path going forward. All of a sudden there's an interruption in the hall,
A big one.
a very big interruption, and they're like, actually this is crazy for you to say, Amari, because weren't you the one who killed the king? And Amari was like, oh, now who is
was like, hold on.
yeah, Amari was like, wait a minute, who's here spilling my tea? Because
Exactly.
how do you even know that? And Amari was like,
Sorry,
I might have really maybe killed him, but who are
it's
you?
not what y'all think. It's not what y'all
Exactly.
think.
Amari has lost the crowd at this point because
Yeah.
they're like, not only did you kill the king, but you have to be working with the Magi because the girl who brought magic back is standing right beside you. So you're not really for us, you're for them. And Amari is like, who is this? Who is it? Nahanda, her mama.
Her own mother.
Her own mother is throwing her under the bus.
That
Now, if you recall from the first book, Amari and her mom already had beef. They already wasn't really close like that. So
that really shook me though. I was like, when it revealed who it was, I was like, oh, I said, not her mom.
I was also shook. She took that mask off, and I said,
That's
"Oh,
her
mama."
mom.
I said, I knew her mama was no good, but this is
Mhm.
very serious.
It
And
was
not
very
only is
sad.
her mom trying to like call her out in front of everybody and being like she should not be the one on the throne, her mother, surprise, surprise. We should put in that little gift. Surprise, surprise. Her mother is a Teton, and not only is she a Teton, she's obviously a connector because Amari is a connector, and Inan was a connector,
Mhm.
but she is extremely strong.
Randomly powerful.
Randomly, one of the most powerful magic
And
users
then really good at it
they've ever
too.
seen. Yeah. So
Like
her
she
mom
just
is
mastered that.
it was really actually funny because her mom is like, not only am I gonna call you out with words, check this. I'm actually gonna bring the building down.
Yeah, I'm about to make this thing crumble. Okay.
Yeah, which I was shocked by because I was like, "Ain't you in the building?" But
Yeah.
I
She
did
said
figure
any
that
means
out. So
necessary.
she is using her powers um, to suck the power out of other Tetons around her
This sounds
to be
crazy.
stronger, killing not only killing them, but bringing down the building around them. So they, Amari, Zele, Zane, they narrowly escape
Mhm.
mother. Wild, it was wild, it was
That was
wild.
a wild scene.
It was so and so after that, Zele is low key over it. She's like, you know what? Actually, what we really should do is we should get with Roman and
Mhm.
check out. Hop back on that
Yeah.
boat and leave. Because
Mhm.
honestly, I've done so much. I've like had so much trauma that I'm actually not trying to do this anymore. I'm trying
Mhm.
to check out.
Which is
But
understandable.
yeah, it is understandable in that moment. But
Mhm.
Mari and Zayn are like, we can't just leave all the other magi to be, enslaved again by Nahanda and the Titans. Like, we did all this stuff to bring magic back to save them. And now, like, what? We're just supposed to leave them? And let me tell you, Zele has this bar of a line in this
Mm.
book. I didn't even write it down. I kind of low key
Oh
remembered
wait,
it. I
explain
heard that.
more.
Ooh, I said she was on that laptop typing this. She looked at Zayn and was like, how quickly us
Woo! That's the line.
I'm dead, yes, girl.
I was like, oh,
Yes,
yes, girl.
hit. She said, it's funny how quickly us went from me and you to you and her. I said,
Yes. And then she
I
galloped
said,
away.
and then she hopped on her lion air and she said, I'm out of here,
Yeah,
actually. So
I
she's
was
racing
shook.
through the forest, emotional, and she's not really looking where she's going. She
Mm,
gets hurt.
of course.
Anyway, anyways, she gets hurt. And when she wakes up in a dream world. Now, if you're walking with us in this journey from the first book, when she's in the dream world, who's she in the dream world with?
Mm,
Inan.
mm.
So she wakes up in the dream world. She's like, excuse me,
Oh no,
what's happening? And
not
she's
this man.
fine. And she's like, you alive? What? This is crazy. And then we jump to Anand's point of view. And Anand wakes up from like a coma that he's been in. And he's like,
Mm.
where am I? I thought I was dead, frankly.
Where am I?
He said, I thought I was dead.
Yeah, he did.
Crazy. And he wakes up to see who? Nahanda, his mama. And she's like, oh, it's amazing that you're awake. You have to take the throne. And
Mhm.
he's like, this is very confusing, but if I take the throne, I can be the king that my dad never was. And
Mhm.
it's gonna be great. I'm gonna be a great king. And he's like talking to his mom and the general who's leading the army. And he's like, check it. We're gonna extend a hand to the poor magi who live on the outskirts of Lagos. And they're like, ew, no. We don't like them and they don't like us. Why would we do that?
They were so
He's
against that.
like, I'm gonna be a different king. Like,
Mhm.
we can't, like, they have magic, we have magic. We can't like just keep treating them the way that my dad has been treating them. We're gonna extend an olive branch. And his mom is like, this is gonna go wrong, but fine, I'll let you make your little decisions, whatever. It goes horribly wrong, and all of a sudden
It
All
really does.
of Lagos is left without food stores
Yeah.
because he tries to extend an olive branch. But of course, the Magi aren't just going to, after years and years of repression, they're not just going to be like, oh, of course you're being nice to us with no ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Dumb on his part to think that, but
Yeah.
whatever. So that's what happened. And his mom is, of course, right there to whisper in his ear, these Magi that you're trying to save are not worth saving. Mm.
She's the worst person to have in your corner, honestly.
The worst
Give
person.
you the
Worst person. And you
worst
like,
advice.
from the first book, you thought that she was bad, but you thought, oh, it's their dad who's like,
Yeah.
the evil mastermind.
Turns out it's her. She's worse than
How
all of them.
mama the whole time. Child to be raised by these parents.
That was wild. I said, girl. She's
So, jumping back to Zele, she's waking up and being because she was hurt. She's waking up and she's like, "Now, did I just see an eye? That's crazy." Kind of going back and forth, being like, "Should I tell Amari that is her brother?" But I don't know. I'm trying to kill him, so
yeah.
maybe I should keep it to myself. But she does end up telling them, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Like they have really nowhere to go. And Rowan steps up and he's like, "Well, you haven't paid me, and a way for me to get money and you to get to people who can maybe help your cause is Zele. There's a bounty on your head by the rebel group of Magi. Like so they're willing to pay for me to bring you to them. So I could bring you to them if you want. You can work with them, see what they got going on." And they're like, "Fine, cool. You get paid a little bit of money. We get to hang out with the rebels, join their forces, see what we're about to do." And the rebel group has dun, 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 Mama Agba.
No, I was happy
So
to see her again.
we see her again in this book. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The reunion between her and Zele is so beautiful.
So sweet.
It's so sweet. All the rebels are so excited to have Zele with them. And they're like, this is what we need in order to really end the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And Amari's like, what about peace? Like now that we know that my brother's alive, like we know that like he does not want to be the same as our dad. He probably wants peace too. We should like maybe reach out. And let me tell you, the rebels are like, one, we don't like you, so why are you talking to us?
Yeah.
And two, no.
They was really like hating on her.
They were so rude to her. And honestly, Zele is not even trying to stick up to this person for this girl who she claims like her sister.
That's the part that was like confusing me so much because I was getting so mad at Zele because I was like, I can understand like you two having your like quarrels and like fights and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, Zele knows the only reason why magic is back is because Amari stole that scroll from the beginning. And so they came on this journey together. And so for her to get around other people and act brand new, like
absolutely brand new, not even saying a word.
Yeah.
Like first of all, when they get there, she kind of even acts like Amari isn't even there.
Yeah. I didn't like that. I said, no,
oh, girl.
We don't
talk about it. So Amari at that point is like, everyone's trying to like treat me as low-key like the nobles were treating the Magi. That's low-key the way they're treating her as a Titan. They're like, really not trying to listen to her, not trying to listen about peace. They're saying like any means necessary, we're gonna get the monarchy, like any means necessary. And so Amari is like, I'm going to challenge the leader of the Connectors to a fight. Because if I win this fight, that means I'm going to be the new leader. I get all of this respect and they will have to listen to me. Amari wins. Now, she wins because Zele taught her like incantations that she promised not to use.
She did promise that.
And she,
but then I also
the other woman. But
I understand why she used it though, because it wasn't like she just automatically used that. The girl was saying some really mean things to her in her ears.
And Loki was like, I know Mama Agba was like, this fight is usually to the death, but like we can't, like, let's not do that.
Yeah,
that woman,
she was being so rude, so nasty.
Kill her.
Yeah, and she was like, like saying stuff that would like kind of like stab somebody in their side, like it makes you angry. And I
Yeah.
could understand her all of a sudden knowing these little incantations and being like, you know what? I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
got
say
time for you.
I'm gonna use it. And it wasn't like she was just going around using it on all of them. She was just like this girl
And
right
she
here.
really only used it once,
Yeah.
outside of, like,
So
battles and
even
stuff.
though she promised not to use it, I understand the circumstances that led her to that moment. Maybe she
I
could have had a little bit more self control, but
When honestly, when Zella was like, "I'll teach you, but you can't use it against other magi," I was like, "Then don't teach her. This is obviously gonna
yeah,
go." I was like,
I
"Why
feel
would
like
you?"
that's a hard thing to
So
respect
Amari
her.
wins, and
Yeah.
she's not the leader of the connectors. Still gets no respect. They still are not trying to listen to her. They still are
No.
really treating her like trash. And so, some other things happen. Where am I in this? Let me get back to let me get back to my let me get back to my outline.
I'm
Okay,
dead.
so she wins, and then so she once again nobody's listening to her. So she's like, you know what? I'm a connector. My brother's a connector. I'm gonna reach out to him in the dream world. They reach out, they connect, and then they're like, you know what? Let's meet up in real life. This was so naive of Amari, but that's her family, that's her brother. She's really trying to be like, I know his heart. And to her credit, she was right.
She was
He was,
right.
trying to do the right thing. It's just his mama is smarter than him.
Yeah, pretty much. She's like
So
10 steps ahead.
yeah, so they meet up in real life, and Zele sees her trying to sneak off, and she's like, "Where's she going?"
That was funny. She was like, hmm,
She
where's
said,
that girl going?
"Hurry out, because
Um,
where are
and
you
she was
going?"
like, she doesn't look like she's trying to like meet somebody. It's the way the author wrote it. It was like she looks like she's
Mhm.
trying to not
Yeah,
be
not to be
seen.
seen. And so
Because
Zella is
normally,
like, "Are you dumb? Like, why would you expose us like this?" And he's
yeah,
like, "Oh, I didn't bring anybody. It's cool." Of course, his mom followed him.
yeah.
Are you okay? They're so and then I had to keep reminding myself that these are actual children,
I was just say they're
not
kids.
adults.
Yeah,
I was like, "You guys are kids. I will give you a pass for being naive and stupid."
yeah.
So
Over
her
and over and over
mom
again.
shows up and she's like, "Hi."
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. She's like, "I'm gonna kill you all."
Yeah.
And so Zele has to make a decision, and so she does it to gain more power, but in the end, she loses somebody really, really close to her. And
Mhm,
so Zele is absolutely devastated. And once again, she's like, I knew this was a bad idea from the beginning. I want to do my first thought. I want to leave. And so
mhm,
she's talking to Rowan. She was like, and the other leaders, they're like, once again, we need to hop on Rowan's boat and we just need to leave. And the other
mhm,
people are not trying to hear that. And now that Amari realizes I've been played, or she's feeling like I've been played by my brother, and my mom will do absolutely anything to win, she's now in this mindset of like, I've got to be as ruthless as my mom. And
mhm,
so she's like, no, we're not leaving. That's the one
mhm.
thing we're
We
not
about
going
to fight.
to do is we're going to fight, and we're going to fight dirty. So on
Mhm,
the side, she comes up with another plan with another leader, but it's secret to them.
mhm,
And Zele is like, I don't want to do this. I want to leave. Like, I don't want to help y'all. Like, I've lost so much. This is also a point where she annoyed me because I was like, hasn't everybody else also lost people,
it's always
Zele?
about Zelly.
It's always about she cannot think beyond herself. And I'm
Always
like,
about Zelly.
girl, everybody has lost people.
Yeah,
They are also going through the same grieving process that you are going through, except the gods chose you and not them. Like,
yeah.
girl. So in the end, she's like, whatever, fine. I'll go with y'all little group, even though I don't
But
want
an
to.
attitude.
With a very stank attitude. Um,
Attitude.
so Amari goes with her secret plan that she and the other leader came up with. It goes horribly wrong.
It
And
does.
once again, her plan goes wrong. And,
Wrong, wrong, wrong.
a lot of magi end up dying. And none of unfortunately, none of the queen's forces are in none of the monarchy die,
You
but
got
a lot
tricked.
of magi die. So they
Mhm.
are pissed at Amari.
They are
Even
very upset.
it was very confusing to me because I'm like, she's not. one, she's not the only one who came up with this plan. So why y'all mad at her,
Exactly.
not mad at the other guy? But also, ain't y'all the ones who also were saying before that you didn't care if the villagers died?
Exactly.
You? I see.
It was very contradicting.
Yes, it was very much like the only
Everybody made
is
me
that
upset in
she's
this
a
book.
Teton.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And if that was the issue from the jump, y'all should have just kicked her out the team in the beginning.
Hmm.
Because it seems like she's doing the same thing that you would do,
But they just
but
don't.
the
They
fact
already
that
don't like
she's
her.
doing it makes you mad.
Yeah.
Okay. But so they put her in jail.
Yeah. Randomly, they have a jail.
Yeah, exactly. Randomly, they have a jail and they put her in jail because
Uh-huh.
they're like, I can't believe you did
Handcuffs and
this.
everything.
Even though, number one, this wasn't, she wasn't even the one who brought up the idea now that I'm remembering it. The other man brought up the idea and everybody was like, no.
No, I should do that. Yeah.
So, okay, they put her in jail, and then Zele and the other leaders have to band together, quite literally, in order to gain more magic to defeat the monarchy. So they gain all this magic, and not only are they able to bring back the dead magi that unfortunately died in the other plot, but they go to the palace and they're like, boom, we
Hmm.
got you.
They
But
came in
what
hot.
they don't know is Inan already was enacting a plan to get rid of the monarchy himself because he
Hmm.
found out secrets from his mom that were really horrible. And when you read the book, they're very shocking and
Very shocking.
they're very much tea.
Yeah.
So he finds out things about his mom and he's like, oh, we're the poison.
We're
Really,
the issue.
it really
Am I
doesn't
the
matter, like
problem?
yeah, exactly. It really doesn't matter that I'm trying to be a good king because truly, like, all of us are the problem. So he already, like, incapacitates his mom and is, like, going on his way to dissolve the monarchy anyway, when Zella and her team come up and they're like, "Bam, we're here. We're gonna basically murder all of you people."
Yeah.
And when like she gets to Anon, she's like, "Here it is, the final battle. I'm gonna kill you." And then, boom, some gas comes out of nowhere.
Random gas.
Randomly, some gas comes out of nowhere. She's knocked out, and when she wakes up, her and all of the other Magi leaders are like on
A
this like
boat?
on this boat together to
Mhm.
where they'd have no idea. And that is the end of the second book.
Yeah.
Girl, so many twists, so many turns. Let me tell you who I'm mad at, Zele.
Yeah. Okay, so we agree. I am very
Okay.
mad about this.
I was worried. I was worried we were gonna be
We're
mad
on
at
the same page. She got me hot. You know what? In the beginning, I kind of understood where she was coming from. In the beginning, like, oh, she's lost so much in the beginning, and like she was just trying to find some peace. Like, can I just like relax for a second? Like having the stress of saving a whole like country or whatever, like their land, it's a lot
Mhm.
of pressure. So she just wanted to run away for a little bit, and they kind of weren't supportive in her moment of like, we understand how you feel. Like it's a lot. And
Mhm.
so like she just was popping off in the mouth and she got them together real quick and ran off. And I think I don't know, like Amari when she like tries to compare their traumas, even though trauma is trauma, but I feel like it's just slightly different. I feel like
Mhm.
she can't. That's going to do nothing but make Zelly upset for
Yeah.
comparing them. And so
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, Amari, shut up! Like just let her have this moment.
Yeah, I totally understood that. Like, and I was like, Amari, like, I understand that you're like, I have also been through things. So, because, yes, you have also
Yeah.
been a lot of things. And ultimately, you made truly the ultimate sacrifice. Like, I
Mhm.
am always so confused by why Zella is so hard on her. And like I understand being upset at her, but like one, she can't choose the family that she's in, and she made the ultimate sacrifice to not only turn her back on her family but also
Everything she
help
knew.
you bring magic back. Without her,
Yeah.
none of this would have gone, like none of this would have happened.
And then you have to
So
think about
it made me
the
so mad the way that Zelly was treating her, like, and then had the audacity to be like, "Yeah, she's like a sister to me. She's like family."
yeah,
Even at
she
the
did say
end,
that.
when she almost was like, we need a sacrifice, and I think it's gotta be you."
Yeah, she really was about to sacrifice that girl. I
I
just
was
thought,
like, "Zelly,
and I
girl, you
feel
are
like
getting on my nerves."
Amari, like the actions that she did in the first book, is actually really selfless because she was doing all of that to help the Magi. She
Mhm.
didn't know she was going to get powers back. Like that, she didn't know what the how the land was going to look like
Mhm.
after magic was brought back and what that would happen to her. And so, like for Zelly to like now in the second book act brand new, like this girl didn't sacrifice everything
Yeah,
she knew
to be
to
with
help
you.
you out is
Yeah.
wild to me.
Yeah, their friendship, quote unquote friendship,
Mhm.
because I could see it from Amari's side, I could not see it from Zelle's side. I was like, "Girl, you're
Yeah.
not like," and I think it is a good example of how like friendships change. Because in the book, you guys did get close and everything, and you
Mhm.
could say that you guys were friends in that first book. From the events from the first book to the second book, you guys turned out not to be friends anymore. And that's
Yeah.
a hard thing to like, sit with and like, work through. But you should have admitted that versus like leading Amari on in a way.
Mhm.
Like I was like, the only reason Amari is doing all of these things is because she's expecting you to act like a friend to her and you're
Yeah.
not. Like,
Yeah.
if you were just from the get, like, "Hey, just so you know, we are not gonna be listening to you. Your opinion will not hold any weight here because we're not friends." Like, I feel like she would have gone at things way differently than
Yeah,
than
she
being
would've.
like, "Oh, like, if I do this, then they will listen to me."
Yeah.
You
She just
know?
wanted to be accepted by all of them.
Yeah,
And
and her
Zelly,
like, the things that she was I just
it
feel
was
like
sad.
Amari, like, I get that she definitely should have been more open, but she couldn't really have been more open because they wouldn't have listened to her anyway.
They
So, like,
really
the
didn't
things
listen to
that
her.
she was doing, I didn't exactly think that they were wrong.
No, me neither.
So I was like, I mean, it just so happens that everything that you plan kinda doesn't work out, unfortunately,
Yeah.
which
And
is a
the other person that really made me mad was Enon. He was really irritating me so much throughout this book because I felt like he keeps saying he wants to be different than his dad. He wants to be a good king. And like his gut in these situations was telling him, this does not feel right. This doesn't feel right. But then
Mhm.
he'll still be like, but I guess whatever to protect the
Right,
throne. Like he
yeah.
would go back onto like, and he could tell like he could look at his mother and he would have like this like disdain of like I can't believe she's doing this, but then do
You
exactly.
also did it. Yeah. I think Anon just
He's
for
a people
some reason,
pleaser.
yeah, he was just so much of a people pleaser that I just feel like he could not break out of like wanting his family's acceptance
Yeah.
and his family in the way of his mom and his dad, because really he wasn't even, with Amari like that. So I
Mm-mm.
don't know. But like the thing, so Anon, honestly, I wrote Anon off after like that first thing. I was like, oh, he's
Yeah,
not
he's not gonna change.
because like he's stuck in that little boy form of him who wanted
Yeah.
his family's approval. He's just not break. He's not going to be able to break out of it, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
like I was so, I mean, I understood the Magi and like how they were like, how are we supposed to like band together with the Tetons when they were the ones oppressing us? But I was like, a lot of the Tetons weren't the people oppressing you. They were just happen to also be nobles, and
Yeah.
granted, they also did not help you, so it is bad. But like, I don't know. To me, it was just like it was an example of like you don't want. It was like it's like I don't know if you want liberation more than you want your oppressors to hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
Because they had peace options many times, and they
Mhm.
kind of
They were like,
because
no, we don't want
and
that.
really because they were listening to Zelly, and Zelly, she wasn't seeing like she wasn't looking at things rationally. She was looking at things like I hate Enon. And
Mhm.
if anything he says, like because she's dealing with a broken heart. So they were taking everything she said and writing on it instead of all kind of coming together and being like, maybe we should think about it more. Like,
Yeah,
take a moment to think about it. But they immediately were like, Zelly said no, so we all say no. That was
exactly.
pretty much it. But I
Yeah.
also feel like with the Titans, they were like with the mom and everything, the queen, it was so hypocritical to me to
Mm.
have that power that they
And
got
then
from the
also
Magi
still hate the Magi.
and still hate the Magi.
Yeah, and still
I
be like,
thought
"Oh,
that
well,
was
they're the
crazy.
ones."
Yeah, and
Then
I'm like,
it's like, "But girl."
they were using their powers worse than the Magi ever did.
Mhm.
The Magi weren't really out here like killing people. You know what I mean? Like they just
Right,
had these
yeah.
powers, and
Yeah.
King Saran was mad at them for having these powers because of what happened to his family, his first family. But like this queen, she's taking this power and she's sucking the life out of her own people
Yes.
to hurt them.
And I wonder, I
I don't
kinda
know
wonder,
why.
like, why do you hate them so much? But, they didn't get into that, but she
No.
has a hatred for them that, like, has started from the very
Yeah.
beginning.
It's
Like,
like
from
deep.
before anybody really was fighting with them like
She's
that,
like, I hate them. I
she was
hate
like,
them.
"Hmm, are we not fighting? I think we should be fighting. I
Yeah.
think we should be
Let me start a
fighting."
war.
Yeah, so I think I might, start a little war. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think
She
that might
is
be a solution.
crazy.
She was ooh,
She
and
had
I
everything.
love a villainous woman, but she was a little I say
She
even
was too
I
much.
stand behind you, girl.
I can't. How do you feel about Zane's character? Because I was hoping that she was going to add his point of view into
I
this
don't
book.
think anything about his character.
I feel like he's just there.
He wasn't there. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
The only thing in the end is like when he like turned his back on Amari. I was like, I feel that because she did
Yeah.
try to, almost kill your sister. So
I felt because I did feel what Zelly felt in the beginning. Like,
mhm.
now you like her. Okay. Good for you. But like this was our journey, brother and sister type of thing. And so now all of a sudden now you have a girlfriend and now you because like when
But,
the building was crumbling down, he wasn't looking for
yeah.
Zelly. He was looking
But
for
also,
home.
I was like, girl,
But I mean honestly, Danielle, come on now. If
I
if
would
the building
listen.
was
First
falling
of all,
around
to
you
be
and your
honest, if a
sister,
building was falling down, I would be getting out of there.
but like if
It's
you was calling
chaos.
for your sister or
Are
something
you
like that,
okay?
and
It's
she like
chaos.
and she had a little friend and she was like, oh, let me go get my friend.
I would. I honestly, I would not care.
Really?
I would, being honest, maybe it's just the dynamic me and my sisters have, but I would not be like, oh my gosh, I gotta, like, my sister's gonna be checking for me. I would not think that. I would be like, oh, we're getting out.
Yeah, everybody needs to run.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
everyone's
understand that point of view
getting out.
too.
Like,
I can
and if
understand
I,
that.
like, it's a difference between, like, if I looked around and I did see you, if I look around and you're not there, I'm, I'm out of there.
It's time to go.
Yeah. Okay. As we near to the end,
Mhm.
what was your 1 through 10 about the book?
What was
Your
my what?
rating.
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 Rating, I would say it was really good. I actually like this book better than the second
Me
book
too.
because
I
it
also
was
like it
a
better.
lot of twists and turns I was not expecting. So I can't remember what I rated the first book. I rated
Me,
it like
I was just gonna
8, I
say,
think.
do you remember I think we either did a 7.5 or 8, I
Seven
think.
and a half or 8. So I would give this book a 9. I would say
Yeah.
a 9. I would give it a 9.
I
It
would
was that
say,
good.
yeah, 8.5 or a 9.
Yeah.
8.75.
Yeah. Right. Can't quite commit to a 9. Okay.
Yeah, because 9 is high.
It is high. Okay. 8 point. I'm
And I
gonna say
think what docks points for me is the ending, how it felt like it came out of
mm,
nowhere. The
that
ending
was
really did
random.
feel like it came out of nowhere.
'Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
who did that gas? Like who? Because
Yeah.
they were doing the other gas, but this was a white gas. That other gas was a
Yeah.
black.
I was like, this
So
truly felt like it came out of nowhere. I have a
yeah.
suspicion that it's like Rowan and his mercenaries because there was that one scene where they were like kind of whispering and he was
Oh
like,
yeah. About the
stop
plan.
it or whatever, but
Mhm.
they never said what they were going to stop. So that's what I'm thinking. But I'm also like, why?
Yeah. What's the point? But then, oh, you might be right because he said to her also, if you're trying to Zele, if you're trying to leave, time, this is the best time. So I
Mm.
wonder. it was like hints of something that he was working on in the
Yeah.
backside that we didn't see.
Yeah, girl. I'm excited for this third book though, because I'm like, I really want to know, and I want justice for Amari.
Me too. I feel
Free
like she
Amari.
didn't get what she deserved. Like,
Yeah, free
she
Amari.
deserved for them to like really take her in and understand her point of view. But then when she was giving good ideas, they was all for her. Like when she took
Mm-hmm.
them back to the
And
temple, they was
also,
all for her.
the point like that I was like thinking throughout the book was like the ideas that they liked were the extreme ones.
Mm-hmm.
The ones where she was talking about peace and maybe doing other stuff, they were not trying to listen to.
Yeah. And then when she actually does an extreme act, they're all like, oh, how dare you do that?
Yeah.
It was very hypocritical. They was aggravating me. It was really
It made me so
aggravating.
mad.
Zane, he was just around. I think
Yeah.
his character is just being Amari's boyfriend at this point. Like,
Yeah, basically. And now not even her boyfriend. Now
not
he's
even boyfriend.
his brother.
So I
So
hope that he just in the next book he
I don't
starts
know.
doing something. He can fight. He's taking classes. I'm like,
Have we seen him fight though? I don't remember seeing
he
him.
was taking classes in the first book, and then when they came to like the little,
But now that people have magic, I feel like they're like, okay.
oh, you can throw a fist. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you think Anon is alive? You think Anon has survived another? If Anon has survived another attack, I
I
mean,
know.
congratulations, you should be a Reaper at
He
this
really
point.
at this point, I
They
don't know.
cannot kill him.
He be getting on my nerves, and I'm like,
I'm
the first
waiting for growth. I'm waiting for growth.
the first book I said he sucked. That was the first thing I said, and I will
Mhm.
stand 10 toes down on my statement. Anon sucks. I do not like his character. And I was really hoping like this book he was gonna have an opportunity to like grow and
Mhm.
show like a difference in like what he learned in the first book. He learned stuff, but he just never applied it. He just was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I remember
He
this.
just keeps like slipping back into the same patterns as
Yeah.
before. And I'm like, when are you gonna not do that?
Yeah. And his cousin, or I guess it's not really his blood cousin. It's just like the
Oh, like,
family
like
friend.
Black people have cousins that aren't.
Yeah, like, my cousin, my
Yeah.
cousin. I liked his character. I liked how
Yeah.
loyal
If
he was.
anyone survived, I would hope that he did. But,
Yeah,
you know.
and that was a crazy storyline too. One that I was not expecting to show up.
Yeah, that one comes out of the blue, you guys. So that was
Mhm.
gonna be really good to read. That's why I didn't mention it because I was like,
Yeah, don't
I
spoil that
sat
part.
up. I sat up and said,
I was like
What's going on?"
glued in. I could not believe it. That
Mhm.
was a good part.
It was
Um,
good.
I'm trying to think of other characters. The general,
Which one?
the one. Her name starts with a J. I can't remember her name. But she's the one that when they caught the rebels at the camp, she was injecting them with like the
Oh,
poison
okay, yeah, yeah, the one about with Anon.
And so what made me so mad with Inan is that when he came to like their camp or whatever and was like, oh, nobody came with me, it's just me. And then like he realized that the troops did come because of his mother and the general was there and then, something happens to her. And then now after that, he's like, I can't believe what Zelly and Amari did. And like, that was so confusing to me because they were just trying to defend themselves. And
Mhm.
so like he like switches so quick of like, I want
He
to help you
always
guys.
does.
And
He's
then
always
switch.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and then, like, one of the Magi, like, fights back or does something that he does not want them to do, and he's like, "Oh, never
And
mind."
he does exactly what Zelly says. He helps you when it's easy, but when it actually comes down to it, he'll stab you in the back. And he
Mhm.
was proving that time and time again. I would have
Yeah.
just wrote him off. Like I would never talk to my brother ever
But
again.
I understand because, like, that's your brother.
I know, and I know
And,
it was hard for her.
more than her brother, like, that was the only person that she could rely on when she was younger. So she's
Mhm. She's
like,
attached to
I
him.
she was like, "I could rely on him all the time before, like, I know that I can still rely on him." But
Mhm.
now she's figured out she really
No,
can't.
really. And I feel
And
like she had to learn that for herself. Like I feel like she was looking at it like Zelly's looking at this she was from a heartbroken girlfriend point of view and
yeah,
not like a rational point of view. And so when
yeah,
that happened to Amara, she realized, he does kind of suck.
yeah, like, yeah.
guess I gotta move on from that.
Girl, I'm excited for this third book because I truly don't know what's
I have
gonna
no
happen.
idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like
It's
what's
like it's just up in the air of like
yeah,
where the heck
where
are
are
they
they
going?
going? Who took them?
Why are they chained
Is
up?
Anon actually dead or not?
Yeah,
What's gonna happen with Amari?
yeah.
Like, is the mom even dead? I don't even think the mom's
No,
dead.
because all they did was like sedate her.
Yeah, they were like planning one, and then
I
yeah,
would have,
immediately,
I would have
immediately.
snatched her up. As soon as I saw that she was a little wobbly.
Honestly, it would have been her before Anon. I'm
Oh yeah,
confused why everybody was like, Anon, he's the king. She was the problem the whole
she
time.
was his brain. She was
Yes,
the one that was working all
yes,
of
and
this.
she's the most powerful.
Yeah, I would have
Like,
took her out in a heartbeat.
yeah, it was just very confusing to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you watching anything else? Doing anything else?
I'm not watching anything else. I want to start watching, and I'm forgetting the name of this show, but at my job, these girls recommended this show to me on Apple TV Plus, and it's about like it's kind of like Bridgerton, but it's about these American girls instead. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch that.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I have to send it to you. Oh, I have to look at it. I have to find it. But it's supposed to be really good. Really
Mhm.
good to watch. I'm gonna watch it this weekend.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
about
I've
you?
been watching The Traitors season 2 and then The Trust on Netflix. That Trust show really had me in a chokehold. It
You've
really
been talking
did.
about that show. I've been
Yeah,
seeing the group
it really
chat. I'm like, dang,
it
they're going
had
at
me
it.
I was so it had me let me tell you, that show really it had me in my feelings. I was so angry, and then at one point, I randomly got emotional. I was like,
Not
"What?"
emotional.
Yes, I was like, I was confused. I was like, "What's happening actually?" I was
You
like,
didn't
"I don't even know these people. Why
crazy.
am I getting emotional right now?"
I'm
But
dead.
yeah, it was good. It was good. Let me tell you, I feel like I would have played the game differently, and in the end, if I was there, it made it maybe would have been like 3 people tops.
Yeah.
I just think there were some mistakes made in the beginning where I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, y'all coulda had it all," but hey,
That is funny.
yeah.
I have to watch that because the way y'all have been talking about it has been
And
good.
it's mainly me. Let me tell you, the way that I, like, just write into thin air in the group chats really
Oh, she's been in the show.
I mean, you guys don't have to say anything, no reaction, and I'm like,
You just gotta keep get it off your chest.
and I'd be like, all right, that's
I'm
what I
so
got.
dead. And I'll be like doing something, I'll turn around and my phone has like 100 messages. I'm like, dang, they was like, and it's like y'all just going back and forth about a show I haven't even
Mhm.
watched. I'm like, dang, is
Yeah,
that good?
totally. But yeah, thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed another episode of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.